So today we have David in Fullerton, California.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hi, David. How are you?
Hey, it's good to talk to you.
Good.
Now that I'm on, I'm at a loss for words.
So I hear you're an atheist and suffering from depression.
Well, yeah, I've been depressed for a little while now. I haven't always been depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 45. About 2 years ago, I lost a friend of mine. He was best friend since I had since childhood, and he killed himself, and I sort of flew off the rails a little bit.
Oh.
And I didn't really know how to deal with it. But ever since then, I've noticed even more than I noticed before. I mean, I've been an atheist for about 10 years, and I've never really had a hard time with telling people I was an atheist. I mean, I didn't broadcast it, but I mean, if anyone asked, that's what I was. But, I mean...
So
but since then, you were going to say something?
Yeah, so I understand your friends are blaming your depression on the fact that you're an atheist?
Well, a lot of my family...
Yeah.
Some of my friends, I don't have a lot of Christian friends, but I did, and I considered them friends. Mm-hmm. They knew I was an atheist before this, and it never really seemed to bother them, or at least they never really act like it seemed to bother them.
Yeah.
But now that I've gotten over the grief at this point, mm-hmm. but I've sunk into this kind of depression that I can't seem to pull myself out of. Yeah. And I get it all the time, you need God.
Right. So they're using your depression as an opportunity to sort of take advantage and try to reel you back into the faith by presenting themselves as the answer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess a question I have for you, are you getting some counseling for your depression?
I've been in therapy ever since.
Okay, good.
I went about 3 months after this happened, and then I went into therapy. I started mm-hmm. seeing a psychiatrist. I started on medication.
Okay. Are you still taking the medication?
Yeah, I'm taking it.
Okay.
The psychiatrist is an odd story. I mean, the first time I saw her, this isn't a private practice psychiatrist. I can't really afford that. This is just a standard issue Orange County mental health professional. Okay. And the first thing she asked me is, what do you believe in?
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, she
as innocently as I can ask, she says, do you believe in God? I ask, well, which one? And she says, well, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. If it were the most automatic response, the most obvious thing I could possibly say.
Yeah.
It's. I don't even remember how I got out of that exactly. It's just. But that was like a year and a half ago. I still see her. I go in to get my medication and I leave. I have a therapist I talk to.
Somebody different. Somebody different from this one.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And he's fine, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing with your friends is that blaming your depression on your atheism, first of all, that's not a very nice thing to do.
I know.
That's not what friends do. Okay.
I know.
And it's kind of an ad hominem attack almost. It's like you're only depressed because you're an atheist or something like that, you know?
But the stupid thing about this was they, you know, I never kept it secret before.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever it was brought up, you know, okay, oh, I don't believe in God. Oh, well, that's okay. Maybe he'll come around one day.
Yeah.
Or I even have a couple of friends who are atheists.
Yeah.
But as soon as this happened, and as soon as I sink into this this depression, it's all of a sudden it's like you need God.
Well, and see, that makes it even worse because there's this element of opportunism about this that is just it's really vile for your friends to be doing this to you.
I know.
And I mean, I hate to tell you to cut friends out of your life when you're depressed, but sometimes you have to do a little triage, you know, with your friends list and.
Right. I mean, because it's important to
time.
keep in mind that you deserve courtesy and respect, and that people, and that your friendships are voluntary, and the people in your life who are not being a positive influence on you and being supportive, and having this kind of negative, attacking nature on you are not good people for you to be hanging around with because they might be making things worse for you.
Yeah. You know, but I've even had this. I mean, I was seeing a specialist about a year ago or so. He was a hematologist, and he noticed I was down one day, and the conversation somehow got around to God. Mm-hmm. And he gets up, he strolls over to the window, he gestures outside, and he gives me the whole, where do you think all this got here still?
Oh man.
And then he pulls out a copy of the Quran out of the drawer. And he hands it to me, and he starts giving me instructions about how I should treat it. Even though this is an English copy, this is not an original Arabic Quran. I'm not supposed to take it to the bathroom. I'm not supposed to let it touch the floor.
Yeah. Right. I think there have been people who've had like intense theological debates about whether it's okay to delete a file containing the Bible off your hard drive. I mean, it's that ridiculous.
I mean, it honestly freaked me out, and maybe I overreact a little. I didn't go back to see him.
No. Actually, in that situation, what I think you should have done, and maybe it's still, maybe you can still do this. File a complaint with that guy's professional licensing board because he's not supposed to be doing that with his patients. That's not part of healthcare.
Yeah, that is incredibly unprofessional. I mean, and I think even our Christian viewers would see that since this happens to be a guy preaching Islam, that crosses the line. And I'm not saying that Islam crosses the line more or less than if a Christian was doing the same thing, but it's clearer to people when it's not their own religion.
Yeah.
That this is just a terrible way to behave towards somebody.
I mean, it was appropriate for him to express concern about your state of mind that day, but his.
I mean, then to insist that the only way I could get better is by reading this book.
Yeah, that was completely inappropriate. And you know what? It's okay to be angry about this. It's okay to be angry with your friends because they're being opportunistic assholes toward you when it comes to religion. And it's okay to express that anger. And in particular, if it helps you with your depression, I recommend it. Sometimes being angry with people and letting them know that this is justifiable, that their behavior is not okay, they cannot treat you this way, sometimes that is cathartic.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing about the first psychiatrist.
Yeah, exactly.
That was unprofessional.
Yeah.
And I hope that your current therapist is able to listen to stories like this and take a...
Well, I've got a decent therapist. I still have to see the psychiatrist though because I got no other choice.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we
I
don't.
understand.
We just don't talk about it anymore.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
in this case, I mean, hopefully this other person is just mainly helping you with medication.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're getting some counseling and that you've got medication, and I'm hoping that this works for you, and that you'll continue to do this. I think it's the best thing you can do. And it will probably take a lot longer, but if you keep working at it, you'll get there.
Yeah, but we're rooting for you.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me the most is that I just can't. It's just so hard to get through to people that I am an atheist because I don't see any good evidence, for God.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is it. I'm not an atheist because I'm mad at God. I'm not an atheist because I think he screwed me over.
Yeah.
I mean, that is.
We had
that is the automatic. That is just automatically with these people.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, we had a guy who called a few months ago who suffered a traumatic brain injury, and he was getting the same kind of crap from people. Mm-hmm. Because he had this traumatic brain injury, people assumed that he was an atheist because he was mad at God because of this injury. Well, his atheism predated the injury, but certainly people being injured doesn't necessarily have anything to do with a religious conversion. Although most people, if someone has some kind of religious conversion and they believe in God after they get injured, people accept that as valid and say, "Oh, it was this God working in its mysterious ways to bring people around."
Everybody goes through ups and downs in their life,
Yeah.
and Christians sometimes try to pull this stuff on me, saying, "Well, you must be unhappy, and the only way to be satisfied is having God in your life." But it's really easy for me because I'm privileged enough to be basically, I'm happily married and have a pretty good career, and I'm generally comfortable and don't have any mental health issues. And I can just tell that if I were in a worse situation in my life, they would latch on to any little thing that they could, because nobody lives a perfectly charmed life where everything goes great. And it's just a way to sort of set up their religion as a false solution to all these real problems that exist in the world. And it's not fair to you.
Yeah.
So I hope things get better for you, and I think we're going to have to move on to another caller.
Okay.
Yeah. Get angry.
Okay.
Get angry, David. Be angry. Be angry with people. You're entitled.
It was good to talk to you. I'm not feeling that bad right now.
Good.
Well,
Okay.
make friends with more atheists and talk to them too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
It
Thanks.
was good to talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good to talk to you too.